Good morning, students. Today I am going to explain the long question answer which already I was completed in yesterday's lecture. Today the answer the following question: 1 to 5th completed, 6 to 9 or 10. Okay, but I have written on board from number 1. Okay, the unit name is 3 question, unit 1 the same, and the title is answer the following questions. Okay, now see the question. Let's see the question. Who was the bearded man? Who was the bearded man? The answer start with here. The bearded man was the king's sworn enemy. Who was the bearded man? The bearded man was the king's sworn enemy. The king had killed his brother and seized his property. He wanted to avenge his murdered brother by killing the king. Who was the bearded man? The person. The king had taken the property and somehow he killed his brother, the bearded man's brother. So he wanted the bearded man wanted to avenge or revenge the king. Okay, now see the second question. Why did he means the bearded man, why did he ask for the king's forgiveness? Okay, bearded man went to the jungle to kill the king. Somehow the king take himself to the hermit's house. Okay, so bearded man captured by the king's bodyguard and injured. Okay, and went to the somehow he went to the hermit's house. Let's see how what's the situation occurred there and see the answer. The answer start with the king had watched the bearded man when he entered to the hermit house. Hermit saw the bearded man, he was very injured. Then king also saw that. Then the king said that the king had watched the bearded man's wound. He was badly injured. So the king had washed the bearded man's wound. Okay, he had covered the wound with his handkerchief. His own handkerchief he used it and covered the wound with his handkerchief. He redressed his wound because the blood kept on flowing. He redressed. First time he dressed it, then blood is kept going on. Then second time he redressed his wound because the blood is kept on flowing. Okay, the bearded man felt grateful to the king. Therefore he asked for his forgiveness. Okay, his enemy, the bearded man's the enemy. Who was the enemy? The king. Okay, enemies helped the bearded man. So the bearded man grateful to the king and asked for his forgiveness because he wanted to kill the king. But somehow the king already helped this man, the bearded man, and what he did? He did the wounds clean. So the bearded man grateful to the king and asked for his forgiveness. Okay, now the third one. The king forgave the bearded man. What did he do to show his forgiveness? What did he do to show his forgiveness? The king forgave the bearded man. Okay, now see the answer. To show his forgiveness, the king promised to help the bearded man. Okay, the king already forgave him. Okay, and what the king said to the bearded man? Let's see. He wanted to help the bearded man. How? See, he promised to send his servants. Who promised? The king promised to the bearded man to send king's servants and his own doctor to look after him. Okay, the king already promised to the bearded man to send his servants and his own doctor to look after the bearded man. The king also promised to give him back his property. and not only the doctor and servants he sent, but also give back his property. Okay, so this is the answer of the third question. Let's see the fourth one. What were the hermit's answers to the three questions? Now talk about the three answers which the hermit's given the answer and asked by the king. Write each answer separately. Three answers. Write each answer separately. Which answers do you like most and why? Now talk about ourselves. Which answers do we like the most and why? What is the reason why we select the answers? Okay, let's see the answer. Now talk about the hermit answer now first. The hermit's answer was that now. The first question answers. The hermit's answers was that now is the best time to begin work. Hermit gave the three answers and was he said in that now. What is best time? What is the best time? Best time is now. Now to begin work. For nobody knows whether he will have any time in the future or not. Okay? Now is the best time to do something because we don't know about the future, what will happen in the future. So now means the present time is the best time to begin our work. The king had just put his question. The king already had just put, means say these questions. When he pitied the hermit, later on it proved to be the best time. Okay. When the king saw the hermit dug the ground, that time he pitied and asked the three questions. What? Three questions. And later on the three questions, it will be proved. About the best time. Had he not done so and gone back, his enemy would have killed him. Okay, the king asked the three questions to the hermit when the hermit dug the ground. If hermit was not given the answer at that time, so if the king didn't get the answer and went back to his house, means his court, so he would have somehow killed by his enemy. But he present there and saved himself. Okay, now see the answers. Answering the second question, the hermit said that the people present were the best. Now second question answer. Answering the second question, the hermit said that the people present were the best. Who in front of you standing, in front of you, who were standing? Okay, that people is the best. Okay, they alone should be listened to. They alone should be listened to. Who are standing in front of you? They were alone should be listened to. For these are the only people whom one can consult at once. Who are standing in front of the person, means me or the king. That people. Okay, that only people whom one consult at once. Okay, now to do good to the people, third answer. To do good to the people present is the most important thing. It was the hermit's reply to the third question. The hermit's reply, what? To do good to the people present is the most important thing. Okay. According to the hermit, man was sent on the earth for this purpose only. Why? Man has sent on the earth to do good things with the good people at the right time. Okay? Then. Okay, now this question, which answer do you like the most and why? Okay, let's see, discuss. I like the answer to the first question. First question answer I like the most. Why? The reason is behind it. It is most logical. It is most logical answer of the question. That is why I like that answer. Okay? So these are the long type question answers I have completed. Then in the next class we will meet with another chapter. Thank you.